Nobody warned us about Fort-de-France, the beaches, the gardens, or the tiny ferry that changes everything. Some travelers mentioned French vibes and rum, but as you'll see, this port delivers far more than most cruises expect. You'll discover a smart loop that covers town, nature, and beach without the stress. Stick around for the simple transport tips that make this port totally manageable. Plus, the local food you absolutely can't leave without trying. I'm Charlie from Travel Day Trip Ideas, where we help you explore cruise ports like a local, not a tourist. Today, we're covering Fort-de-France Martinique, and this place delivers a unique French-Caribbean blend that most passengers completely underestimate. When you step off the ship at either Pointe Simon or Tourelles terminal, you're immediately surrounded by French colonial architecture, the scent of fresh pastries, and the sound of Creole music drifting through the air. Here's what most cruisers don't realize about this port. You're making 3 big decisions before you even leave the ship. First, town versus gardens versus beach. Do you stay walkable in the historic center with its library, cathedral, and market? Do you head up to Jardin de Balata, which requires transport and timing? Or do you take the ferry across the bay to Trois-Îlets beaches? Second, DIY versus taxi tour versus organized excursion. The buses to Balata are cheap but unreliable on timing. Taxi tours handle the hills and schedules for you. Ship tours remove planning stress but lock you into a schedule. Third, how far to go with limited time. You can stay near the pier with a quick town walk, or gamble on the ferry or bus up the hill and still get back an hour before all aboard. These choices matter more here than most ports because distances, hills, and French schedules make things less predictable. From Pointe Simon, you're a 10-minute easy walk to the historic center. From Tourelles, you're about 2 kilometers out, roughly a 5 to 10-minute taxi. The main bus hub and ferry dock sit right next to Pointe Simon, making that terminal far more convenient for independent exploration. Downtown feels urban and compact, not resort style. More mini French city in the tropics than palm-fringed resort right at the pier. Walk straight into town and you'll hit La Savane Park within minutes. Just beyond the park sits the Schulcher Library, and honestly, this building alone justifies the walk. The striking yellow and pink structure was built in Paris for an exposition, then disassembled, shipped here, and rebuilt. The iron framework and stained glass windows create this incredible blend of European engineering and tropical setting. It's completely free and takes maybe 15 minutes to explore. Here's mistake number 1 that catches almost everyone. Don't expect a huge resort beach right at the pier. Plage La Française is small and urban. The better beaches require a ferry or taxi ride. Most cruisers waste an hour wandering around the port area looking for that perfect beach when it's actually across the bay. If beach time is your priority, head straight to the ferry terminal at Pointe Simon and catch the boat to Anse-Mitaine. The crossing takes about 15 to 20 minutes, costs around 7 to 10 euros each way depending on operator, and delivers you to a proper Caribbean beach with restaurants, bars, and water sports. Walk from the library toward Cathedral St. Louis with its distinctive iron steeple, then head to the covered market a few blocks away. This is where you'll find your first authentic food experience. Vendors sell fresh tropical fruit, local spices, hot sauces, and handmade crafts. The prices are reasonable, and the vendors are friendly without being pushy. A lot of people book a tour here because the timing to Balata Gardens is tight and the hills make driving tricky. The gardens sit about 10 kilometers north, roughly a 20 to 30-minute drive by taxi. Buses run there, but schedules can be off, and if you miss the last one back, you're scrambling for an expensive taxi. Taxi tours bundle the gardens with the Balata Church viewpoint and usually include a rum distillery stop. You're looking at about 40 euros per hour per taxi for up to 4 people. It removes the stress, handles the winding mountain roads, and gets you back on time. If you're doing it yourself, catch bus 25 or NC9 from the Pointe Simon area. Just build in a huge time buffer because the buses don't run on tight schedules. The gardens are absolutely worth it. Over 3,000 tropical plant species elevated canopy walkways, and some of the best photo opportunities on the island. Admission runs €16 for adults, and you'll want at least 90 minutes to explore properly. The canopy bridges give you this incredible perspective, walking among the treetops with hummingbirds darting past and the scent of tropical flowers everywhere. Here's mistake number 2 that frustrates many visitors: not checking the last ferry time from Trois-Îlets. If you take the morning ferry to Pointe for beach time, you absolutely must confirm the return schedule. Missing the last boat forces an expensive taxi detour around the bay, and it cuts your timing dangerously close to all aboard. Check it twice, set a phone alarm, and plan to be back in Fort-de-France at least 90 minutes before your ship's deadline. For lunch, find a small local spot near the covered market and order acres de morue, salt cod fritters that are crispy and flavorful. Pair them with colombo, a curry-based stew with chicken or fish. The fish here is remarkably fresh, often caught that morning, and prepared with local spices. The entire meal costs less than €20, and it's the kind of experience you'll remember long after the cruise ends. If you're looking at premium versus budget options, here's the breakdown. Premium means a private taxi tour covering Balata Gardens, the church viewpoint, and a rum distillery 4 to 5 hours. Roughly €160 total for up to 4 passengers. That's €40 each, split 4 ways, and you see everything without stress. Budget means taking the bus to Balata for a few euros, walking town for free, and catching the ferry to the beach. You'll save €100, but spend more time managing logistics. Honestly, this is one port where a taxi tour saves you real stress. The hills are steep, the roads wind through mountains, and the French schedules don't always match cruise timing. If you love planning and have good time buffers, go independent. If you want to relax and let someone else handle the driving, book that taxi tour. After lunch, if you stayed in town, walk along the waterfront toward Fort St. Louis. This 17th century fort still functions as a French naval base, so you can't go inside without a guided tour, but the exterior and harbour views are beautiful. The fort sits right next to Plage La Française, that small city beach I mentioned earlier. It's not spectacular, but it's convenient for a quick swim if you want to cool off before heading back. Here's mistake number 3 that catches people off guard: underestimating the heat and humidity for a full walking day. Without water, sun protection, and good shoes, town plus gardens can be exhausting. The Caribbean sun is intense, and Fort-de-France doesn't have the constant sea breeze you get at beach ports. Lisa and I learned this the hard way, and now we always carry extra water and take breaks in the shade. As your day winds down, make your way back toward the ship. If you have time, stop at a cafe along the waterfront for one last coffee and a slice of coconut flan or tourmente d'amour. Traditional Martinican desserts that are sweet, rich, and the perfect ending to your port day. The walk back to the port takes you through the same vibrant streets, but now you'll notice details you missed earlier. The colourful buildings, the rhythm of the city, the way locals interact. Fort-de-France deserves far more credit than it receives. With simple common sense habits, this port is safe, beautiful, and full of authentic experiences. The French Caribbean culture, the accessible gardens, and that simple ferry link to better beaches create a day that feels genuinely special. We've added our favourite local tours in the description below. They're the same ones we use when we travel, and they understand cruise schedules perfectly. Tell us how you'd spend your day in Fort-de-France, and keep watching for the next port.